thoughts on that? I want us to...
Yeah, you know, the World Bank depends on information that is presented to it by a government. And so, as much as I will not fault the World Bank country director for his mispronouncements on this matter, I will expect that he will go beyond the information that is provided by the government to get himself more educated on the subject before he makes any public pronouncements again. Because, look, the country faced energy challenges during the NDC regime. And these were energy challenges that the NDC did not create, but inherited. That fact has to be established.
With oil fields?
Yes, it inherited, because the experts at the time, in fact, predicted long before the time that because of the low level of investment in the sector, we're going to get to that point where we'll have a crisis. Previous governments didn't do anything about it, and so we got to the crisis when the NDC was in power. The president then, who I respect so much because of the way he even approached this issue, identified the three problems together with the experts. One, there was the financial problem. Two, there was the fuel problem. And three, there was the generation problem. So he set out to fix the generation problem.
Generational capacity.
The generation problem through the emergency power plants that were brought in. And you do know that in negotiating agreements in an emergency situation, it is sometimes not the best time to negotiate, an agreement. So definitely, one will ask himself, could we have gotten better if we were not in an emergency? And I will say yes. If you are not in an emergency,
very key point,
you will get better. So we had those, arrangements in an emergency situation. But the fact, however, is that those arrangements ensured that we got out of the energy crisis that we find ourselves in. Then the financial problem was fixed with the introduction of, ESLA, the ESLA fund. Now, the World Bank country director needs to educate himself more on what the intention of ESLA was and whether that has been applied.
Right.
If that was applied, would we be where we are today? If the World Bank country director educates himself on that, I'm sure he will be able to appreciate the issues better. The fuel problem was solved with the fast tracking of the Ghana Gas Infrastructure Project, right, which ensured that we now had our own fuel in this country. But I will just want to reiterate the point that Dr. Kobna Donkor makes. And it has to do with the fact that even as we speak, Ameri, which was even negotiated under an emergency situation, is the lowest in terms of, thermal generation tariffs. How much we pay for thermal generation in this country. It is even lower than Asogli that came in long before, the power crisis. So what the World Bank country director said is not borne by the facts. And what I am tempted to agree with is the analysis of Kobna Donkor, who says that at the time that you negotiated to pay, say, $4, to pay a dollar for, a unit of power, the dollar was 4 cedis. Today, that same dollar is about 11 to 12 cedis. And so if that, and then the bigger problem is that you have misapplied the tax handle that was supposed to help you deal with some of these problems. And so here is the case, your budget has increased as a result of your reckless management of the economy. That has because it's reckless. That has led to the depreciation of your cedi, and it is part of the recklessness that led us to collateralizing the ESLA proceeds, for example. So clearly, I think that the World Bank country director was speaking based on information provided by the government, and I think he should go beyond just the government of the day's information and better educate himself.
Just to